Oh,
Those were the cries of just one of Reverend Dr. Kendall Stubbs' parishioners from Remnant Tabernacle of Praise Church on Carmichael Road. You see, on Saturday morning, Reverend Stubbs, along with his congregation, held a walkathon to and from the church. Sadly, the walkathon would end abruptly after the father of three was knocked down by an oncoming truck just after 7 a.m. Now, when our news team arrived on the scene, onlookers gathered, mostly of Reverend Stubbs' congregation and several Baptist ministers. Most of them were overcome with grief as the news of his death spread among them. Officer in charge of the Traffic Division, Superintendent Kent Strawn, has the details.
We advised that an adult male, prominent community leader in the society here on Carmichael Road, was, along with his parishioners, engaged in a simple walkathon when he was struck by a gray or white colored vehicle, pickup truck, we are told. And he was left lying on the side of the street.
Senior pastor of Bethel Baptist Church, Reverend Timothy Stewart, was on the scene. He told parishioners that now is not the time to question God.
It is virtually impossible to calculate the effect that this would have. Because remember now, there is no limit to what God can do through one person. So what all God could have done through him locally and internationally and by extension globally, it is difficult to calculate.
Now, Pastor Stewart also described the kind of man Dr. Stubbs was, a man whom he mentored.
Dr. Stubbs was an extraordinary person in every sense of the word. He had an extraordinary disposition. He was incredibly disciplined. He had an extraordinary upbringing and home training. He had an extraordinary training. He was one of the most prepared ministers we had of any denomination in the country.
The 48-year-old pastor leaves behind his wife and 3 daughters. Reporting for JCN News, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.